Good evening. Good evening. How you doing? You're here with Emil, Terry, and Thomas. What we're going to be
What's up?
doing, we're going to be watching a few different videos of Trump supporters, and we're going to be getting feedback from that. Anything you got to say, T? All
You
right.
got double T's out here. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just threw it out there. I knew I was hitting one of y'all.
True.
All right,
It's all good. I'm ready to get in.
all right, we ready? All right.
And on June 14th, 1946, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God gave us Trump. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, fix this country, work all day, fight the Marxists, eat supper, then go to the Oval Office and stay past midnight at a meeting of the heads of state. So God made Trump. I need somebody with arms, strong enough to rustle the deep state, and yet gentle enough to deliver his own grandchild. Somebody to ruffle the feathers, tame cantankerous World Economic Forum, come home hungry, have to wait until the First Lady is done with lunch with friends, then tell the ladies to be sure and come back real soon, and mean it. So God gave us Trump.
Hey, that's funny as hell. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, whether you support this man or not, like, if your woman don't support you like a Trump supporter, you don't need her.
What you say? What you say?
If
You
your
said
woman
she
is
don't.
not supporting you, you don't need her. The way they be riding Trump, whether you go for him or not go for him, you can't overlook
The
how
Silverado Trail
much
Boss.
people love this man.
And a little work.
They made a whole
Yeah, you
50%,
wrong about that.
50-second ad campaign. This could have been his ad campaign when he was running.
It was. I mean, I don't know if it was, but I know it was around. You know what I mean? It
Like,
was around.
dang, the way people love
All right,
Trump.
hey, so I'm gonna give y'all a choice. Y'all want to go with people who, in fact, y'all want to go with people who regret or the farmers? Yeah, let's go with people who regret.
The grant or the
Let's just go
farmers.
with
I would like
the
the
farmers.
farmer. Let's go with the farmers, the welfare
All
queens.
right. You get this 13 seconds in.
Hey, you missed it, Terry, but we went through the 2025 Project 2025 when we were talking about the farmers yesterday.
If the election were today,
These people here.
And what
Hey,
city
y'all
is this?
boys
Like in
ready?
the Midwest?
We went
Oh,
through Project
this is what's
2025.
three farmers. Oh yeah. You can tell them about the Project 2025. We're going over the mandate, and then we're also just deep diving and looking into different sources. Trying to figure out the pros and cons of what the Republicans are trying to do.
And so I'm getting a little context back on this. So if you when we were going through the mandate of 2025, what Trump planned to do when it comes to the farming sector of this country, Trump basically said that these farmers have been double and triple dipping into different funds. They'll do insurance and then they'll go to federal programs to
Oh yeah,
back
they've been
and
doing
basically.
insurance fraud. That's what he be saying.
Yeah, basically. And so now the farmers, there was a good percentage of them who voted for Trump. And so now we're about to watch this video because now it's funny because if these were basically the welfare queens. Like they were on Section 5 instead of Section 8.
You say they're on Section 5. You're right. It's Section 8 is Section 5. They were before Section 8.
But yeah, go ahead and play the video. Go ahead and play the video.
All right.
Frank, who did you vote for president?
Mr. Trump.
Right?
Trump.
Mr. Trump.
If the election were today, Frank, would you vote for Donald Trump?
No way. Couldn't happen.
No.
It's just funny how they voted against themselves. Like a lot of people did vote against themselves. So we already know white women voted against themselves with Donald Trump because he got rid of DEI, and DEI affected like 40% of it was just white
They
women.
thought they were exempt. A bunch of them grabbed their pearls and say, "Not me. I'm put."
So I mean, I'm not saying I actually rock with a lot of Donald Trump's policies and changes to this country, but it's just a simple fact that people who did it for maybe racial motivated or maybe just didn't understand what he was putting out and just hated Joe Biden so much, they realized that they were voting against themselves when they were doing it, whether it was racially motivated or maybe it was just ignorance. Either way, they voted against themselves, and so now they're looking.
Yeah, they really went against their best interests, and them farmers definitely did, because with USA, when they knocked out USA, it was a bunch of different programs that were supposed to be paid out, and the government said we ain't paying you. So that 80,000.
But like I talked about it yesterday, like how you let's just say a tenth of their crops had failed. They would say, "Hey, I need the insurance to pay for the loss of the crops," and then they'll go to federal programs and say, "Hey, I've lost crops, so I need federal funding." And I said, "In no other business does that work like that. Like, do you? Yeah, you protected against some losses, but the way Donald Trump laid it out in Project 2025 is that they were claiming
Well,
on the
you know,
insurance
it
and on
wasn't him. It's what's his name, Voss or whatever. Voss is the one of the primary people who wrote it. He's just implementing it. It's not like he thought of it, he's implementing it. So it's like, you know,
I don't, yeah,
that's not always
but
coming over play. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, and so basically, they like what business do you know if you take minimum losses that you do a tax write-off, but you don't claim on insurance? If you have a car and your car gets a scratch or it might get a little ding on it, you're not gonna claim insurance on it because you know the deductible of it is more expensive than the actual repair itself, and so you just take that loss and you get it out of pocket. But what they were doing was claiming every little thing, and then it turns out that the American people were paying what, like 60% of the premium on their
Yeah,
insurance.
we were paying we was paying their bills. Honestly, they were welfare queens. Terry, what do you
Yes.
feel about it? Terry? Well, okay, I guess we'll come back.
Yeah, my bad. What's the question?
Yeah, I was saying, how do you feel about the welfare? I shouldn't call them welfare queens. I should.
Are you saying with
Feel
the
about
farmers and everything? Well,
yeah,
how I
about
feel
them
about the
and getting
farmers
mad
is
that their
they got to
Section
get
5 is getting put off.
As far as my concern with the farmers, you know, they got to get every dime they can get. Basically, the way that they're ran now, you know, if they don't have any kind of subsidies and stuff like that, they're going to lose regardless because they get taxed like heavily on their stock and everything like that, you know. So it may look like they making money, but the profit margins are not really there. So
But they
I want
also
the
get a
money.
lot of tax.
Being
They
bankrupt.
get a lot of tax. They get a lot of tax breaks too. They do get a lot of tax breaks as
Yeah,
much as they
hey,
get
but I'm
taxed.
saying, you know, Congress people talking about they one crop away from being bankrupt.
I mean, it just how farming goes. Farming has always been like that. If you have a drought or a disease that affects more than like 30% of your crops, and you took out loans to cover the financing of your business, and yeah, you could be bankrupt off of one bad season. But that is
Yeah,
farming in
exactly.
itself.
Because
That
Yeah,
they're
is.
so
always
you saying
pressuring the
what, Terry?
farmers to get new equipment and everything like that. And then they got to take out a loan to get the new equipment. And then, like you said, they
Mm-hmm.
get one bad thing, then
New
boom, they're out. And then the
technology.
million.
Hey, but that's been a problem with farming since the industrialization of farming back during the Gilded Ages between like the late
Gold doctors gonna
19
take over it, and the
the
FDA is
late
not gonna regulate it after a while. That's what it sounds like to me.
the
Because
late
whenever you talk about people
1800s.
who got real money, they don't care about the poor people, man. It get real bad for the poor when the rich is just running
Farmers
everything.
farmers haven't been rich since they let slaves go. Let's just be
Oh yeah,
honest.
but what I'm
Farmers.
talking about is they're about to be moved around. They about to move around. They about to. They not rich no more, bro. They just here. Section 5 is taken away. They about to. You know what I
But
mean?
they
They
have
about to
been
be
they
on the
would
block.
they so Terry, I don't know if you missed what we were saying about the farmers, but basically the farmers insurance, they will claim minimum losses. Like, if they lost a tenth of their crop, they'll claim that as a loss. And then the American people are paying 60% of their premium on their insurance. And then they'll go back to their Section 5 programs and ask for compensation again. So they were double dipping, triple dipping, because there's different, like 3 different programs in Section 5 that they can claim from. And so, it might be low profit margins on farming, but there's also a lot of waste. And with them spending getting a lot of money in a lot of programs already, I don't see why profit margins will be as low as if I'm not a farmer, but I just know as the American people, we're paying taxes for these programs from the USDA, and we're also paying 60% of their premiums. So they're getting subsidized heavily, more than any other industry out there.
All right. Hey, Terry, you got anything to say? Because I'm about to go to the next clip. I'm gonna take that as
I got it. I
nothing.
got it. Yeah, I was
Okay,
able to follow.
Yeah, you got something to say about that before I go to the next clip? Because
Nah, all I can say is I didn't know about all that, and yeah, that's. I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to hate on anybody trying to exploit the system. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
I got you. Let's go ahead and keep rocking.
I ain't got no sound on this video.
Can you hear? All right, let's go ahead and try it.
Not one.
Here.
Yeah. It's up now.
All right.
Not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 new polls have come out just this week, all showing the exact same thing. And that is that not only is Donald Trump's approval rating continue to fall, but also a plurality of voters in every single one of these polls no longer trust Donald Trump to handle the economy. Now, some of these polls, the numbers did hit 50, 52% at most in terms of do you trust Donald Trump to handle the economy? And for the others, it did not hit 50%, but there was still a plurality. More people said they do not trust him to handle the economy than people who said, I do trust him. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Obviously, based on what we have seen for these last 2 months, what we saw in his previous 4 years, you shouldn't trust Donald Trump to handle the economy. He led us into a recession the first time. We were going to be in a recession even without COVID. So he's bad at this. He comes into office in 2 months, takes the economy that was doing so much better, chugging along and getting better by the month from President Biden, and he's destroyed it in under 2 months. The number of people who trust Trump to handle the economy should be 0. Like, that should be 0%. The fact that there's anybody out there that still thinks, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing, it makes me lose faith in humanity. Not one.
All right.
Okay.
How you feel about that?
Okay, so I said this before Donald Trump was reelected. During his campaign, I said the proposals that because it was among Kamala's tax plan versus Trump's tax plan. Let's never forget all those tax plans. Let's see what they're talking about actually doing. And so Donald Trump is trying to lower the debt. And that's a big thing. Like, that is his main thing, was to lower the debt. And then so all the things that he was saying was to lower said debt, right? And so when I was trying to I told this to my mom. I said, like, the economy is gonna get a lot worse. I said that before, because all the things that he was trying to do to lower the debt will cause a recession. And I said that it's going to cause a recession, but it's what's needed. He's just said that, he was going to cause a recession before COVID, or whatever, because he was doing the exact same thing in his last presidency. He's saying the economy was getting better, but yes, the economy was getting better because we were borrowing more money to keep it going, but we weren't. It's a band-aid solution, and that's what I understood it to be. And even
You
when
sound like
Kamala
them
came,
Cubans. I tell you that much.
when
You really sound like them Cubans.
I understand that if you want major change, you have to forget the way you can't do the exact same things that we've been doing, which is borrow more money, um, wasting it, and then inflation keeps going up or whatever, but you keep American moving because Americans have more money to spend or whatever. You can't do that and expect the debt crisis to come down. Well, if you want to focus on this is even in your personal life. If you want to focus on getting out of debt and you don't go to another bank to borrow more money to tackle the debt you previously got, it just moves the debt around or it adds to the debt.
Yeah,
And you be
yeah.
like,
Eventually,
so
you keep
so if
kicking
you
it.
want yeah, you keep kicking the can down the road, and that's exactly what Kamala was proposing, was to add stipulations and certain things to her tax plan. But if you looked at the projections, it was going to add so much more money. I don't know the specifics off the top of my head, but it was a significant amount more to the tax, or not to the tax, to the debt collection that we already attributed to. So when
But I
Donald
mean, I
Trump
guess my
was
thing is the fact that if you deal with con people and you allow people to con and they're gonna con. He's been dealing with the gangsters back in the 70s. You know what I mean? Like he don't mind eating up your lunch and doesn't take
But
no
every
care.
move, every move that Donald Trump has made thus far, not just talking about what is talking about doing or what might be done, what he actually has done is to tackle the debt. When he's threatening tariffs and putting tariffs on all imports, that is tackling the debt. Because if we don't tariff these people who are tariffing us, right, that means we're losing money on
He
trade,
must be doing
but
it at
not.
the bottom of his heart, huh?
No, no, I'm not saying that he's just such a kind person, or I'm not saying those things. I'm saying from a logical standpoint, if we can get more money, because America is a country of consumers, so that means we import a lot of stuff. That means we buy a lot of stuff, and since the things that we are buying come from overseas majority, because we don't really produce as much as we really should, not like it was in the 40s or before that or whatever. We need to make money off of these imports, and so it could
So
go
we're
towards our
supposed to
debts.
make like Canada and Mexico nervous about things with this, so
Oh
that
no, no,
way.
I'm not even specifically talking about Canada or Mexico
But what
because
I'm saying is the fact that we
we
talk about
hardly
importing
import.
and stuff like that, and you're putting them tariffs, you're putting tariffs on the homies, you putting tariffs on the friends, and it's
Oh
kind of
no, no,
like
no, no, no,
those
no, no.
people. We go to war. When we go to war, we normally can talk to them first, and then we both go to we all three of us go to war because we know that these people are
Those,
cool with
those are
slavery. You know,
two.
these people are cool with
No, those are two
with all this
countries
type
that
of
need us.
inhumane stuff. I'm just saying, like when it comes
That's
down
like
to
your
it, there
broke.
are
That's like
a
your
lot of
broke.
bark.
That's like your broke best friend. You just like, oh, okay. If I do go and get in a fight, I know my two broke best friends gonna step in. But that doesn't change the fact that if I'm not getting into a fight and I'm hanging around these two dudes, but I keep funding their lifestyles, that's gonna get taxing because they my two broke best friends.
Oh man.
But
He's like,
the only reason why
he might ride with me, but he ain't got no money, so I can't mess.
So the only reason why
Oh
tariffs was
man, it's
even
crazy.
even the only reason why tariffs was even in discussion is because Mexico didn't want to take back their illegal immigrants. And then the only reason why tariffs was put on Canada.
What about I thought he said it was some kind of drug or something. What's that drug?
Yes, no, fentanyl.
Yeah, he talking about that fentanyl. You saying that fentanyl is the
Yeah,
reason
yeah,
why he want to get rid of them too. And then
not
he
not
said
yeah,
Canada
no,
got
it's
fentanyl
more.
coming down too.
Yes, because Canada has very lax immigration, and so you're letting immigrants sneak into our country, Mexico, and you letting the cartel push drugs into our country, Mexico. Hey, bro, if you don't get this on the wraps, I'm gonna have to get you on the wraps. That's all that, and then the tariff wasn't even that big. And how I'm gonna explain to you why the tariffs wasn't that big is
Hey,
because
so
Canada.
real quick. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna ask Terry what he feel. Let's watch the next one after you wrap it up. Terry, you
Yeah.
got anything to say about what he's saying?
No, I mean, I agree fully, you know, when it comes to, you know, how we're going to get out of this debt. You know, you can't keep doing the same things, and we got to do something against the people who are terrible us. So, like, what we're going to do, just sit here, you know what I'm saying, just drown, you know, and also, you know, doing something different is definitely what we need to do. And if it involves going into another, we should have, in 2008, we should have went down, you know what I'm saying? But they just keep kicking the can down the road like that. So it is what it is, and
Yeah, but it's I guess my thing is the fact that it's the person who's doing it. Like we know that are we talking about the same Trump as far as Trump Towers and the like you were around during his fake stuff where he's losing, right?
yeah.
That
Hey,
should have
but
presidents in you. Like no short-term memory. Like you don't let a clown hold your books. That's not something you do.
okay. I'm gonna let you know one thing about American business is that it runs on debt. So if somebody has a $40 million building, they did not spend $40 million on cash. So if they
I
took a
guess what I'm
loan,
saying is his credibility should be shot with y'all, and you're saying credibility is not, and that's
no, because
crazy.
I know
Because what I'm
business. I
saying is
know
the fact
business.
that it's like he's a con man. Like that. There's like how's he? Tell me how he's not a con man. Tell me he's not a
I'm gonna tell
con
you.
man.
I'm gonna tell you how he not coming because the federal government went after him for doing mortgage fraud, and the bank that he got the loan from said he paid us the money. Why are we indicting him on fraud charges when he paid us the money? So if he paid back his
So
debt, and we
okay,
talking about
okay.
the
So
debt
you
crisis.
saying he's not a con man? All right. So what about you? Okay, I got your point. Is he? How's he not a con man, sir? Terry. He must be on mute or something.
Yeah, my bad. Looking at the
Yeah, I
TV.
said, how is he not a con man? Do you feel like Thomas that he is that he's actually trying to do good for America? Or do you feel like because I'm saying like he's a con man and I don't deal with con men. That's it. I just draw the line.
My thing is that they're all on the same team, you know.
I said the
It's
same
just,
thing. He don't
yeah,
want to hear that. He don't want to hear that. Come on now.
no matter
So
who's in the
no,
office,
I just so you're basically saying he's not a con man. That's what you're saying, right?
they're all common.
He's a
I
politician.
get you,
All
but I'm just
politicians are
saying like
commons.
he's
All
to the point
politicians
where
do
you're
same
not
thing.
supposed to trust him because he's an incompetent person. Like he has no skill, like he has no experience. He's just a
What did Joe
con man. He's a snake oil representative. He sells you
Oh,
cures, but all it is baby oil.
we're not gonna talk about Joe Biden then because Joe Biden was so
What I'm
incompetent.
saying,
He was losing his
look,
mind.
hey, I'm saying Joe Biden to me, I'll put him up and put a cape on that man. I'll pick him 15 times. I don't care about if he lost his mind. I'm still if look, I would have voted for a cockroach over your boy Trump.
Yeah, that's why you voted for. That's why you voted for Kamala, the fake black
Well, you're right.
Indian lady.
But the reason why I would vote for a cockroach is because at least that cockroach is gonna do their 2 turns and move around. They're not gonna try to shake it up and become Alexander the Great. They're not gonna become one of those tyrants who feel like I have to subjugate people. You don't think slavery can come back, man? People get real bad, man.
Until it's done, we can't speak about it. We can't speak about hypotheticals. We only talk about what has been shown to us. And just because they say he's
It's tough
tyrannical,
shake
don't.
ups. It's been like 100 years since World War, bro. It's
And
been
if
like
you think
100
slavery
years.
coming back, if you think slavery coming back without another civil war, you are highly mistaken. And we
Oh
will never
man,
get
you
into
don't
another.
think? Hey, if
And the
people,
reason
you're
why
not the
we
only person who think like you though.
The reason why we will never get into another civil war is because we have our business in too many other people's business, and and they waiting for us to slip up. So if we can't come together as a people, that's gonna leave us open to other people's attacks. That's gonna start a whole
Well,
nother
look,
World War III.
what I'm saying
Just
is,
because America a
what
big
I meant
bully.
by that, I'm not saying we'll go back to slavery per se, but I'm just saying things can get real bad where a lot of evil stuff can happen. Let me just say it like that. And you know, I dig on the deep end when I said that, but a lot of dark stuff can happen. And I'd rather not even deal with it if my vote means anything, if my voice means anything, if my life means anything. I want to stand up for the person who is Tunisia, to whatever, Tanzania, whatever,
You mean
fucking
Tanzania?
yeah, what is it?
Tanzania.
Tanzania in Africa. If they
Mm-hmm.
out there helping people out there for whatever reason, I don't know why. I would like them to do that, and I don't know why. I thought about joining Peace Corps at one point. You know what I mean? I'm not going front. I mean, I volunteered a bunch of times in my life to help out with people, bro. Like I don't know, it's just, but at the same time, even if I didn't, I still would not be dealing with a con man. And then if I remember COVID could have been avoided. Like the way it was handled was really mismanaged. You know what I'm
I
saying?
feel
Like,
like, I feel like one, the biggest comment was Joe Biden, because he acted like he was all for the minorities, and he was definitely saying F the minorities back in the 90s. That's a con. You a con artist. You are faking it for faking it to kick it, bro. You not with us. You never was with us, but you want this vote. You want our money. You want our support. So come on, you gonna act like you actually rock with us when you don't. Now you can say Donald
all
Trump's a
right, hey,
racist,
you ready?
but at least,
You ready for the next video?
yeah, man, go ahead.
Yeah, let's go. Let's rock.
If you could say anything to President Trump now, what would you say?
I expected better from you. I really did. I expected that you would do what was right and cut waste and fraud and all of those things that you promised us before we elected you in office, but you're not doing that. You're creating a disaster, and I don't know what America is going to look like if this continues.
Did you ever think that your job would be impacted in a Trump administration?
No, absolutely not.
Jennifer Piggott was abruptly fired from her job at the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service here in Parkersburg, West Virginia, along with 124 other probationary employees. She voted for Donald Trump and thought her government job would be safe.
But to cut the knees out of the working class Americans just doesn't make sense to me. You know, it's what's the checking account look like, babe? We went through our list of items on our budget and said, what can we get rid of? And we've gotten rid of all of those things, including cable. I had my last review on the 31st of January, and I had the highest rating that you can get on a review, less than 21 days before I was terminated for my performance.
On top of losing her job, Jennifer is facing backlash from both Democrats and Republicans for speaking out. She's received death threats and more.
Our home's been egged. You know, they've hacked my Instagram and posted horrible things about my deceased mother.
I'm Derek Dahlstrom.
That sound
I'm
like a
Derek
lady
Dahlstrom.
who fucked around and found out. How you gonna sit here at the beginning of your video and say, "Oh, I regret voting for Donald Trump because he's not doing what he said he was gonna do. He said he was gonna
Nah, he's doing everything he said he was gonna do to me.
he said he gonna cut back waste and make it more efficient. He just didn't believe that her job was not important, and then she gonna sit here and
No. She
cry.
thought her job was too important just to fire. That's what she thought it was.
Yeah, but is you cut the leg. You can't do one without the other. If he said he was downsizing the government and you work for the government, you should understand that, hey, let me make sure my job is really actually important, because they saying they downsizing the government. That means firing people and to approve. If she just thought she wouldn't be the one. She really thought she wouldn't be the one, and that's that whole video.
I don't feel sorry for her, bro. I really don't.
I
I
don't
do
feel sorry
feel
for her
sorry.
either.
No. I feel sorry about them death threats. I don't think she's someone to threaten her. I already feel like she's threatened. I already feel like she's already going through enough hardship as it is getting fired. And with a lack of income and having kids, bro, it's a different feeling. And then the way they doing these SNAP programs, you remember what we were talking about how they're trying to do SNAP.
Yeah. So one, I feel like you were if you didn't think that your job was important,
She
but
just
you
thought
gonna
she
vote for a
wasn't
man who
DEI. That's all it was. She didn't know she was a DEI.
that too. Secondly, this man been in office for 3 months. Out of 4 years, we got four. Okay, he just started his fourth month. No, actually, it's just been 3 months because he got
Yeah,
elected or
this
in
is third month.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He only been in it for 3 months, and you said he ain't living up to what he said he was gonna do.
He just
Girl, you didn't
started.
even give him. He just started the job. God dang,
Yeah.
you just mad
Well,
because
you
you
know what's
got
gonna
fired.
happen though. After they do it to the government, they're gonna do it to private businesses. The private businesses have no choice because the government normally used to be able to help the private business, but once they gut it out and they know that the government has no real power, no real horns, what's it gonna do? I'm gonna call the Muskins.
All I'm saying is that I don't feel
Hey,
sorry for
ready
that
for the
lady.
next video?
Yeah,
Terry, you
go.
got anything to say?
Yeah.
You feel sorry for the lady? He be putting this stuff on mute. Sir.
All right, let's go to the next video.
All right, let's go to the next video.
I'm Derek Doster. I'm from Dresden, Tennessee. I am a former Maga. Used to love Donald Trump, but I failed to see what he really was. After January 6th events, it changed. I was for Trump the entire time he contested the election because, I always grew up in the Republican household where dead people voting. It's not the case. What the Republican Party has become, it's become MAGA. It's become Donald Trump. It's his people, no matter what he says, it's the truth. To all these people, and my family included, the MAGA, they're not Republican. They're not Republican whatsoever. Not what I grew up. Republican Party to me is you hold an extreme level of integrity, you have a solid moral compass, you trust in God and the teachings of Christ, love your neighbor as yourself. The Republican Party that I have been supportive of my entire life is different.
Greenland does not want to.
Hey, you heard that? Hello?
Yeah, he ain't said one lie. Like I said, ain't no supporter in your life acting like a Trump supporter. You don't need that supporter because the way they ride Trump is I've never seen it, and it's giving cults, but it's not giving like Donald Trump's the cult leader. It's giving these people are delusional, and they're looking for somebody to latch onto. And Donald Trump just got the way that they're trying to follow or whatever. But honestly, I don't blame Donald Trump for his followers because it's always radical followers. Shoot, we got the KKK for Christianity, we got ISIS for Islam, and even though those are two peaceful religions, you got extremists following them and claiming that these are their gods or this is their religion or whatever. And but that doesn't have nothing to do with the religion itself. It's just that these people are very delusional and very extreme on their following, and I've never seen this with any other politician. But and like you said, that January
Yeah, they really
6th
be riding them hard. I'll tell you that much. They be riding them hard. I don't understand it.
yeah, I don't understand it either. But yeah, if we want to bring up January 6th, Capitol Hill, yeah, he knew his followers was that crazy, and he still said
Oh
what
yeah,
he
he knew that.
said. Yeah, your it's like if you got a baby
You
mama
know
and
your
you know
cousin
she crazy,
crazy. You know your
and
cousin
you go
crazy. I don't know why you
tell
do it.
them, and you gonna tell them, hey, shoot, I'm about to post up on this dude. I'm about to go whoop him. Your cousin gonna be like, Oh, I thought we was really beating them up. I called him outside at Chick-fil-A. Oh, you didn't want me to really beat him up? You said we was
Oh,
gonna beat
it's
him up,
late.
and I caught him on Chick-fil-A. He was in Chick-fil-A. I seen him. We was on the damn chicken sandwich. Nah, I got him. I got him. But it was like, bro, you knew your cousin was crazy. You knew he was gonna
You shouldn't
ride
even
like
told
that.
nothing about it.
Yeah, exactly. And now this is going to be studied in history. This like in the next
Oh
20 or
yeah,
30 years.
They're gonna write whole textbooks about this.
And not just the history of it, they're gonna break down the psychology of it because somebody got to study these crazy white folks' mind on why they so adamant about following this man. Because this dude, I've never seen support like this. Maybe a Beyonce
Hey,
fan.
you
I've
ready
seen a
for the
Beyonce
next
fan.
one? It's about Greenland. But before that, hey, T, you got anything to say about that last one? Give me a second. I'll take that for a no. Let's go to the next.
All right. Just letting you know this is gonna be my last.
To make America great again. In fact,
hold on. It's gonna be your last one. Let's go watch the because I really was watching the short ones. Just this one. Oh man, it was so close to being the last one. Well, that I really wanted to watch because the interview I had, it was very interesting. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I can see it. All right, so this is the only thing I really care about y'all really talking about and understanding. This is a couple that I met outside, very loving couple. They seemed very nice. They were Trump supporters. They were only people, and then they parked their car outside, and somebody told the police came and told them to move their stuff, and it was kind of crazy. All right, let's do it. For accidents. Okay, so we'll continue. So, how do you feel about the Department of Education being cut?
I think it's a good idea. It should be under state control. Never should have been a Fed program.
If you go back in history and look at all the presidents, all the way back to Reagan, they were all talking about doing this. And I was a child in middle school when Carter came in and started doing, and the way the classes changed, they took a nosedive because they were going to the lowest common denominator instead of letting. Before that, they had it separated out advanced, middle, and basic, so that you could learn at the correct speed for where you were. But when Carter came in and put it under the Department of Education, it got screwed up. You had everybody.
Are you in favor of higher education? Are you in favor of college?
I have a college degree.
Okay.
My brother has a college degree. And guess what? The person in my family that was most successful was my mother, who had no college degree. She made 4 times everybody else because she learned what she needed to do and did it well. I don't use my college degree. My brother doesn't use his college degree. And yes, we're in our 60s.
So I know that
it's good for higher education is good if you have a specific goal.
Okay.
His grandson is going to the University of Alabama in engineering. He's got almost a free ride because that is what he's good at.
But my other grandson is a firefighter.
And he's taking EMT classes to do that. So education's important, but it needs to be towards what you're actually going to do with your life.
So you trust Government Kemp to do what's best for our children?
I love
a lot
government.
better.
Oh, I
lot
love
better
Governor Kemp. He handled
the Fed.
COVID. Oh, the way he handled COVID was great. I mean, I remember one of his.
Hey, so real quick question. How do you feel about Government Kemp and the way he handled COVID, Terry?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I do cleaning service, so I wasn't one of the ones who had to get locked down, so to speak. But I was able to still work, so I think that was a good thing.
Okay. So my question: do you feel like you trust them with your kids' funds, as far as like, do you feel like you'll do better instead of versus an entity that's solely for kids? If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. And well, I mean, I'm actually taking my son out of public school, so I really can't answer that question.
Oh, why?
Yeah, I
Speak on why
mean,
you taking your son out of public school. Go ahead. I'm curious on this.
Yeah, basically, they have these programs. It's called No Child Left Behind, which
Oh,
basically
that's
means
trash.
even
They're
if your
just pushing them
child
through. Yeah, they're just
is
pushing them
pushing
through.
through, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want that to happen to my son. Well, I'm just assuming he has an education. I want to make sure he has an education. But not only that, I want him to see and experience the real world, not just go to college. Because you heard what the lady said. They got college degrees. They're in their 50s, 60s, and they don't even use their college degrees.
Well, unless you get a STEM degree, degrees really be pointless.
Yeah.
That if
So
it ain't
I
a
want
STEM
him to
degree,
know
it
that
ain't nothing.
going to college is not like it used to be, like when, the 70s and 80s, the 60s and everything like that, basically it's still about who you know. And that's the only reason to go to college is to increase that.
Yeah, as
Uh,
long as you got but like the lady was saying, as long as you got a career path and you know exactly what you want to do, you can just focus on doing that. Like a lot of people who go
I
to
mean,
school
my whole
for,
thing about it, when they were talking, I had no arguments at this point. That's one thing about it. I guess like the concept that I had beef with, what I was asking Terry, do you trust government Kemp to do better than have more interest in a entity that's solely supposed to be for children? The Department of Education is solely supposed to be for children. Government Kemp is going to be thinking about the whole state. So what that means is it's not just the children I'm worried about. I'm also worried about the elderly people. I'm also worried about the homeless people. I'm also worried about this people. I'm also worried about my constituents, and I'm worried about my pocket. You know what I'm saying?
well, the federal government don't really pay a heavy a big the federal
If you
the
break down the
federal gov
Department of Education, I let you talk a lot.
I'm saying
I'm
the
just talking
federal
about the Department of
no.
Education.
Yeah,
So
but I'm saying the other things that
I'll
you
pass
list.
him about the Department of Education. You know that,
The
right?
other things that, yeah, but
Okay.
the other, yeah, because you're a teacher, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
So what I'm saying is the fact that it's like if I have a good points on it and I'm talking about that, that's gonna be something that's gonna be something. So I'm gonna stop talking about it because I'd rather hear someone else talk about it. But what I'm getting at though is the Department of Education is solely thinking about after school programs, the money for kids, period. When you think about the governors think about the houses, he's thinking about the roads, he's thinking about everything under the state. That you don't think
Yeah,
that's going
but
to take precedence? That's going to be
that's where
allocated?
but I want to interject on that because that's not true. The Department of Education issues out money to the states for the education for that state, and then the state budgets what they're going to use that money for
It's
through
an
their
auditing sense, the auditing power that they can have on them. Then you can audit them.
But the governor is not just thinking about a million different things. The governor has his own team, his own cabinet that handles different sections, and they all make
Yeah,
their
but
own
what I'm
points
saying is you give
based
them the
on.
ability to allocate money versus if it was the Department of Education that existed. Without the Department of Education, who's gonna speak for the kids? That's what I'm saying. No, then the state's
The person that's over education in that state that's a part of the governor's team. That's the
but it's
person who's
like
going to
you're
advocate for
gonna get
kids.
rid of resources. Those are extra resources that could be given to the states when they're inadequate. Like, do you think Arizona? Do you think Arizona has the best education system, or Alabama and
They really don't. And
Mississippi?
it don't matter how much money that the Department of Education gives to subsidize them, they still gonna have lackluster educational programs.
But somebody has to do the research and the educational, just figuring out stuff that people won't really pay you to do. But it helps out when it comes to teaching kids that are 5 or 4 or 3 that might be special needs, or some kids that might need a different kind of way to teach them and get to them. Someone
The
has to
federal government,
and
doesn't do, the federal government, Department of Education doesn't do that. The Department of Education sits down and looks at the whole country. It doesn't specify based on state. They look at statistics based on the whole country's special eds and the whole country's left
So
behind kids, and
look,
figure
what I'm
out
saying
what our
is
plans
they
need to
do
do.
have departments that do research on the best way to educate kids. They do. I promise you they do. We had trainings. There's trainings every other day. There's always trainings. You hear me?
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not
saying
saying they're not pushing I'm not saying that they're not making plans and stuff like that. What I'm saying is that when you get down to specifics, who specifies these things is the state. The state specifies them. That's why other states can teach critical race theory while other states cannot, because the states own Department of Education is going to dictate where the money goes, how it's going to get there, and what they're going to practice in that state. The Department of Education is an overall, like, hey, this is a guideline, you guys can follow it, but we know at the end of the day, all federal policies,
I just don't
the
understand,
states.
what do you have against having more resources and a collaborative, united resources reaching from Maine to California and bringing all that together and helping out all the states and having some kind of unity within our kids' education? What's wrong with having them resources?
Okay, we're talking about resources as far as educating the kids.
Yes. What's wrong with that?
No. There's nothing wrong with it per se, but the idea, the concept of it, there's nothing wrong with it. But the actual procedure and how it's getting done is the problem.
So
And if
what I'm
and
saying
if
is,
and
if
if
a bad parent, it's better to have a bad parent than no parent.
and I already contradicted you on that.
And you feel like it's better to have no parent than a bad parent. That's how you feel.
Yeah. Because a bad parent will bring traumas. Having no parent will bring some trauma of like identity crisis, maybe, or the wanting to look for a parent. But it won't. If that bad parent has alcoholism, domestic abuse, that bad parent has.
So you feel like it's better to be a ward of the state then?
No, you said a parent. You didn't say both parents.
So let's say, I'm just saying, like let's say it's either. You remember when we talked when we were discussing the mandate of leadership? I'm not exactly sure what page it was, but it was where they wanted to take away kids from foster parent from the parents who allow their kids to go to foster care.
They talk.
And if they neglect them when they're in foster care, they have the ability to take the parentship away from them. You recall that?
Yeah.
All right. So how do you? I mean, you feel like that's okay? You know, as far as if they were to take
because it's the same thing. It's the same thing. If you have a parent that's not no. If you have a parent that's not making the attempt to be in their child's life while they're in foster care, then they shouldn't have rights. If you have if you just have a child that's in foster care who don't know their parent, what does it matter? What difference does it make that they have rights or not? They don't know their parent because their parent's not making an attempt to be in their life. So whether you take the rights away or not, it does not matter, because it still ends up with a kid in foster care who don't know their parent.
Hey, let's see what other kind of points these people got, because they talk for a little bit.
All right.
Interviews with the media, and you know how a lot of reporters, not you, but a lot of reporters, they'll start their question with this big monologue of what they want him to say. And he looked at him and he said, is there a question in there somewhere? Because if there's not, I'll move on to the next person.
All right, you're referring to who said this?
Governor Kemp.
Governor Kemp. Okay.
I mean, we are one of the states that did the best recovery from COVID.
Okay,
because of him.
okay. What you say?
Yeah, I like him a lot. Go ahead, I'm sorry. I apologize.
When you asked about what it was all about, Kemp, are you implying that Kemp is
No, I say, would you
anti-education?
think Kemp would do what's best for our children?
As far as education, absolutely.
Yes, as far because
A lot.
if you're
Absolutely.
if it's not in the Fed's hands, it's going to be in the government Kemp's hands. So
Yes,
so that's the reason I'm asking that
A lot
question.
better than Kamala or Joe Biden.
He's a practical businessman, and he is the only governor I know who actually gave money back when there was a surplus. Do you remember the check you got for that?
No, I don't remember the
I
check.
do.
Are you from?
Are you from
How long
Georgia?
have you lived in Georgia?
About 7 years. 8.
But he did a tax refund off of people who paid taxes to Georgia. I mean, you had to have paid Georgia income tax, but there was a surplus because he had a fund to get us through COVID. And when that fund wasn't used, he gave it back to the taxpayers.
I mean, you can do good.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and come back to it myself.